Welcome to Mad About Money. I'm Maddy Alexander-Grout, and this is the podcast where we talk everything money. I'm here with the lovely Emma from Cover My Bubble. Emma has the most inspiring story, I think, of anybody that I've ever spoken to. So I'm really excited about kind of delving a little bit deeper into her journey. But Emma, thank you for coming on, first of all. Tell me a little bit about you.
No, thank you for having me. So, my name is Emma from Cover My Bubble. We are just a small family insurance company, helping families with affordable insurances. And it's just me, my hubby, and my three best friends. And I love everything insurance and very geeky about it and love questions.
Amazing. So Emma, the question that I ask everybody on this show is, what is your money story? Start
Yeah,
as early as you like.
it's our journey really. So if we go back to 2006, we were a young family renting a house, and we had a young son who was 4, and I was pregnant as well with a little girl. And everything was fine. Pregnancy was great. I was full-time working as well. And then, unfortunately, I went into early labour at 24 and a half weeks with Lily. Rushed through numerous different hospitals. There were 3 of them that we were all transferred to because she was coming. And unfortunately, Lily was born in a local hospital, and we spent a month in hospital with her as she was struggling and needed a couple of surgeries and things as well. But the main reason really why we talk about our story and everything, we get to include Lily because she did pass away 1 month later after she was born, and I was unable to work. And due to that, that meant I lost my income into the family, which was £1,200 at the time. We were struggling to pay the bills, obviously pay for rent. My husband even struggling to get to work and couldn't even afford £10 to put in petrol. We got so far in debt because we were borrowing money from loan companies that had very high APR, prices and increases.
Yeah.
And it was just this spiraling thing, really, because I couldn't go to work. I'd just lost my daughter. I were really, really struggling with that. And we had no insurances in place. So we didn't know about income protection, children's cover, bump cover. And this is something that would have paid out to us as a family
Yeah.
at that difficult time. So, as well as grieving for Lily, I was also grieving for the financial debt that we were in. And that just caused me to be poorly and suffer more with my mental health for a longer period. So yeah, this is why we shout about insurance for families, to let them know, right, what is available, what is there for you, affordable prices, because everyone's scared about insurances. They're scared about how much it would cost, but there's so much there for families that can be used when things are needed. I always say there's more than just life insurance. There's the critical illness, there's the income protection, children's cover, bump cover. And we just want to raise awareness really for families so they don't go through what we went through, because it was so difficult at that time. Really, it was terrible, and it did just last for a year. It actually took over 10 years for us to get back on our feet, get the debt paid off, get back stable financially and mentally as well. I really struggled after losing Lily. Still have my little pants days, as I call them, as well now. But we're in a good place now. We've got back, and we're helping families. We're raising awareness really, and I get to include Lily in the business as well, which I just think's amazing. I'm so lucky.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. That's the worst thing that a parent ever goes through. And it's horrific that you had to end up in debt as well. How did you get out of the debt?
Working hard. I think it come to a point where I ended up pregnant a year later with our son Oliver now, who's 15. And when you've got 2 children and you've got a house to keep, and you know that you're struggling, you work hard, and you know that you can't go to your family and friends, and you can't let them know that actually we're in debt. I'm paying £150 to this loan company each month, which we knew we didn't have, but they were very quick to, knock on the door and offer that money to you at a difficult time. They take advantage of people when they're
Yeah.
vulnerable. Old people aren't the vulnerable anymore. It's families. Anybody can be vulnerable depending on the circumstances and what they're
Yeah.
going through. So it's it's difficult, isn't it, really? It's anybody can be in that place, really.
So in terms of making sure that parents are covered, because I think one of the things that you probably get as well as me is I can't afford to insure my family. And we're out there trying to fight the fight and saying to people, look, you might not be able to afford insurance, but the alternative is so much worse. And what would you say to parents in that situation?
100%. Life insurance is scary because usually if they go online, it's a comparison site. It's so complicated. They don't know what they need. And if they do put the details on, what happens? They then are bombarded by call centres. They're called up to 12 times a day, pestered until they take out insurance. Or they get through to an advisor who might be amazing or he's sorted a mortgage out for them, but he's not experienced on the life insurance. So he's throwing quotations at them at £50, £80, £100. Families can't afford that. So
No.
it's with ourselves, we look at the situation that the family's going through. We'll give them 5, 6 options in an email. We work with their affordability because at the end of the day, they're paying for the cover, but there's so many different variances you can do. So families are still covered. It's affordable. Children have cover. The bump is covered as well for bump insurance, and also the free GP services that you can get and the mental health support with life insurance. So I love talking all things insurance because there's so much out there for families
Yeah.
when we need it now. We've had so many claims and clients have used these services. So I've got so many examples that we use on social media and families can't believe how affordable it is. I've had
Yeah.
families swearing down the phone because they can't believe that they've had a quote through for £25 a month for 4 people, and it's covered with life, critical illness, children's cover. So yeah, we always work around affordability for everybody, and we just
Yeah.
tweak it then until they're happy, and it's how much they want to pay for it. So it's I love doing that bit. They come through, they might
Yeah.
have had a quote for £80 a month and they go away in a quote with £30 a month, and it's better cover, single policies, level cover. I'm not going to complain, confuse people on here, but there's
Yeah.
so many options for families and it can be affordable.
And people don't really think of what would happen in the worst case scenario, because I think I had another lady called Sarah Breyer, who runs Showgirl Coaching, on my podcast last week, and her husband got cancer and she did have critical illness cover, and it's paid out for both of them. She's self-employed, so I mean really his salary was the main salary into the house, and
Yeah.
if she hadn't have been covered, they would have gone bankrupt. It is really scary thinking about the worst case scenario. I know that if my husband was poorly, we wouldn't be able to live. It is very scary. So I think people really do need to kind of think about it. And tell me more about bump cover. What sort of things does that cover? Because I genuinely didn't know that bump cover was a
Yeah.
thing until we had a conversation about it, and I thought, what even is that?
Yeah, so I've always spoke about bump cover. Obviously, what we went through with Lily, it's 9 pregnancy complications that are covered, and you could receive up to £10,000 that would just help you through a difficult time. So obviously, I would have received that money when we lost Lily, and we could have then had income protection, which would have paid us really a regular monthly income to help replace the loss of my income. But just as an example, we had a lady who last year, unfortunately, she lost her little boy who she was 21 and a half weeks pregnant with him. And he survived for 30 minutes. And one of the pregnancy complications she had was listed, so eclampsia, and that meant then she could then make a claim. So she just contacted me. I do everything for her. And because it was such a difficult one, it was a first pregnancy and baby loss that I've had in the 15 years I've been doing this. But it was difficult, but it made me more determined to help fight for this claim for this lady, because she was a single mum, had a little girl who was 3 at the time, and she'd just already lost a son previously who had Down syndrome. And that's why she wanted the cover. She wanted it for security, that if anything happened to her daughter, she had some cover in place for the future. And if she did go on to have another baby in the future, she wanted that cover. And, thankfully, we managed to pay her that £5,000 out for one of the pregnancy complications that were listed. And she took 12 months off work. £5,000 might not seem a lot of money to somebody, but actually she didn't want to go back to work. She couldn't go back to work. And she spent this time with her daughter and had 12 months off. Making memories. They had a memory garden then that they made as well for the sons in the garden. So for me, watching that journey afterwards as well, knowing that we've helped a family, we've stayed in contact, we're still really good friends now as well, which is nice. But knowing that money's given her that financial security, which I never had, it's really, really rewarding. So yeah, bump cover is a big thing we shout about, and children's cover.
And it's the mental health support that goes around that as well, because you don't really think about the fact that you're grieving, something horrible's happened, or somebody's really poorly and they're going through that nasty situation. The last thing you want to be doing is going to work when something happens that's that bad in your life.
It's the worry, really. It's like in a way you're blocking off because you're hurting so much what you're going through. But also, you've got bills coming through your door. You've got the phone that's ringing, people chasing money. You've got direct debits that are bouncing from your bank. And you don't have that money coming in to cover your direct debits. So you're then getting behind with your household bills, your rent. You can't afford a day out for your other children, or you can't do things or pay for food bills. And it's so demoralising. You think you've been through such a really crappy time, and you're still going through it, but actually then you've got the financial grief side of it, where you're being hit twice as hard, and it's making it last longer than what it should do on the grieving side, and it just makes things so difficult. It's a tough one, really, but that's why I do what I do, because it is affordable. It is easy. I'd never ever call anybody when I shouldn't. We have loads of reviews online from clients and testimonials of people saying how friendly we are, approachable. And I just love that, because it's how insurance should be. It shouldn't be a scripted, cold call, pushy. It should be take your time, you ask questions, we tweak things, and then we go ahead when you're happy to. I love my job. I'm probably geeky.
It's the empathy, isn't it? The fact that you've been through something similar to what these families are going through, that gives you kind of the edge on I guess other generic insurers who may not have been there. I always say to people, because people compare me to people like Martin Lewis, and I'm like, but I've been there and I've done that. I've been right to rock bottom and back up again, and then right down again. My journey is very much yo-yo. I'm still up and down. But I think they're for £25 a month. I can teach people how to save £25 a month so that they can afford to buy bump cover or children's cover or whatever they need. By joining my discount club, and you'd save £25 a month on your food shopping. So that's not just it's not when people say they can't afford something, it's about priorities.
I think they're scared of it though. Myself, I think the clients we speak to, it's more of a fear of inquiring, because they're actually scared of it being too
real,
too unaffordable, or actually being bombarded and being pestered. So once we overcome that barrier, it doesn't come down to affordability. I know that sounds crazy, but with everything that's going on with the cost of living and everything, once a client has come through, they feel at ease, they can ask questions, we've provided quotations for them, they've managed to tweak things, but more importantly, they understand the cover. They know why they're taking it out, they know what they need, they know what it's for, and they know that the whole family is covered. So it actually becomes an essential bill, because it's protecting the wages, it's protecting the children, it's protecting everything, because not many people think about, if anything happened to their partner, if they were the main earner, what will happen then? You can't continue living that same lifestyle? Can you afford to pay the bills, the rent, the mortgage, the outgoings? And it's that we're protecting, that if anything
Yeah,
happens, we're giving you that financial security. So there's so
absolutely.
many options.
And you wouldn't buy a house or a car without insuring it. And your
Mm.
children are the most precious things. I would definitely rather lose my car than my children. And
I think it's
in my mind, that makes me think, that's why it's so important.
Mm. Well,
They
I
are,
think with car insurance and home insurance, like you have to have home insurance to complete on a mortgage. You have to have insurance for your car before you can drive it.
yeah.
With life insurance and taking out a mortgage, you don't have to have life insurance to complete on a mortgage now, even though there's
Do you
mortgage
not?
advice. No, and it
I did
hasn't been
not
like
know
that for
that.
donkeys. Probably about
Really?
15 years, it hasn't been like that because
Why?
there was a lot of mis-selling from the banks. And because of this
Mm,
mis-selling, they took it off as a priority tick list. So yes, you used to have a mortgage and you had to have your insurances in place for it to complete. It's not like that now. Although some cheeky, very naughty advisors are saying that they need it. They're saying you have to take out a mortgage with me for your mortgage to complete. You have to take out a mortgage with me to
mm.
get this good rate. It's rubbish. I nearly said a naughty
I
word.
You
But
can
yeah,
say naughty words. It's my
yes,
podcast.
it's
Fine.
rubbish. And it
Yeah.
really, really annoys me that there's still advisors out there who would rather earn commission, extra commission, by saying those wrong, misleading things to clients because you don't have to have
Mad.
life insurance to complete on a mortgage. Yes, you should have it because obviously you've got that mortgage to pay off and it's security, but
Yeah.
you don't have to have it, and it winds me up. It drives me crazy. There's some
I did.
naughty advisors out there still giving us a
Yeah.
bad name.
I really did not know that. I think, and I'm pretty sure that's why I took mine out in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think
Mm.
I mean, it's a sensible thing to do because if you think
Yeah.
about it, I mean, no one wants to think about themselves dying or
No.
having
Or
something
being
wrong
ill.
with them or being ill.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
could you imagine losing the house that you bought because you
My mum and
haven't?
dad did.
Oh my
Yeah, my mum
God.
and dad did. My dad suffered a stroke, and he was quite serious. And down one side, he couldn't move, so he couldn't work.
Mm,
And then a couple of months after, because of obviously no money coming in, he didn't have any insurances in place. Well, he had a small policy for £200 a month, which didn't
mm.
cover hardly anything. But then a couple of months later, my mum cut her wrist and tried to commit suicide.
Oh
And
my
she had a
God.
very bad mental breakdown and she was in a mental home for 14 weeks. And we had to, even though the family together, we tried to keep on top of the mortgage and the payments and tried to do what we could, but we couldn't. We were still a struggling family, trying to pay our own bills. My sisters were struggling. So we ended up having to give the mortgage company the house back. That left my mum and dad owing £42,000 because they put the house through an auction site, sold it for like 40 odd thousand, and they owed over 80,000 on the mortgage. So then the
Mm.
bank were then chasing my mum and dad for this money. Obviously, my dad's struggling, my mum's still very unwell. And they handed them for that money owing, and
That's
you just think,
awful.
oh my God, they've gone through this awful, awful time, and now we've got the bank on the back. It's not hard enough they've lost the house. We've now had to find new accommodation for them, go through trying to sort out benefits to get them help and support to keep some money coming in. And
Yeah.
it was a real crappy time. It was awful. So I have so many examples of what I've been through, my family members, but also our clients. God, I could talk all day of examples of people, young people suffering with breast cancer, testicular cancer. A lady who was 31 had a heart attack just after pregnancy. These conditions are happening to younger families now.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why, the younger you are, the cheaper it is. And that's when you should be taking out life insurance. But yeah, there's other, income protection's a massive, massive thing that families should be looking into because if you don't cover your wage and you can't work, how are you going to pay everything else? But it's more the
Yeah.
illness side of it really that needs protecting. Life insurance is the last thing really that pays out, believe it or not. but that's everything that these big insurance companies drum down your neck. You need life insurance, £10 a month, you get £300,000. No, why not? Income protection, children's cover, critical illness, bump cover.
Yeah,
There's so much more for families, along with the free added benefits that I always shout about as well, because with children's cover and bump cover, sometimes these come free with your critical illness cover, and not many family know that. So they can
yeah,
have children's cover, bump cover, and it's free. It is free with certain insurers. And also the free mental health support, GP services is a godsend where you can book a
yeah.
GP appointment. And they're all free within your insurances and needed.
Love it.
I'm
Absolutely love it.
ranting, aren't I? I'm going on, aren't
No,
I?
no, it's
Shut up, Emma.
so interesting. It really is. And do you know
Yeah.
what? Like, hats off to you for like not only getting through the most difficult thing that a person has to get through, but building a business that really helps other people. You know, I really love that about you. And you're so smiley and positive, and you've been through some really shit times. And I feel like
Yeah,
you really are the person that is going to help bang the drum and help people to get their lives
yeah.
sorted and
I
together.
love helping people. And I've always said, we used to drop the boys off at school, and we always said to the boys, do well, have a good day, wash your hands, and make somebody smile. So I've always
Oh,
believed that, if you make somebody smile, you smile twice as much. And that's something that I've always said. And I've wanted that for the business as well. So we're always giving back. We're always sending little cheeky little smiles to clients who are having a crappy time. We're all going through struggles, and we need that little boost some days,
yeah,
and it's just nice to send treats out to clients and send them some flowers, or do
yeah.
another competition to try and, just give back. I love giving back. I love
I do
helping.
too. I do too.
It's nice.
So yeah, I think and what I would love to do for all of your clients, if you're up for it, is I want to give them free access to the Mad About Money Discount
Mm.
Club, because it will not only help them to pay for their insurances, but it will help
Yeah,
them to save on everything else as well. So I'm going to do that for your guys.
good.
Um,
Oh, cute.
and
Thank you.
yeah, I think it'd be something that would be lovely for them. Always nice to give
Yeah.
extra perks, right? So
Oh,
yeah, Emma,
100%.
what's next for you on your journey?
I think it's just, do you know what? I've been doing this for 15 years, but I started the business 5 years ago, and it's just going from strength to strength. And I'm so proud of everything we've achieved. We're a small business, but we're making such a big impact, and I bloody love it. It's just so nice. But I've got quite a lot of things planned this year where I'm working with insurers. I'm trying to get them to change their policies, change their definitions, add more critical illness covers on there, more enhanced options for children's cover, bump cover, income protection. So I've been working with 5 insurers this year to change and tweak things, and I'm quite proud. Although I can't shout about it and say what we're covered for us, who I'm working with as yet, but when those changes come, I know I've been part of that, and it's nice. I've been offered actually to speak next month. I'm going to be the first female advisor to ever be invited to do a presentation and speak to underwriters, claims, doctors. No, they always have a conference every couple of years, and it's only them who do it. They've never invited
Nice.
advisors in. So this year I'm going to do this presentation. I'm scared to death,
You will
but
rock it.
I'm
It'd be
also quite
amazing.
proud. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
nice to be recognised for what we're doing. For such a small business, we're making an impact. So the
yeah,
more I can keep just growing it and keeping it small, because that's just how I want it. I don't want a massive brokerage. I don't want that. I've never wanted it. I've worked for them previously.
yeah,
I don't want to be that person. Get the sale on the board. Get the sale on the board. No, that's just bullshit to me. I
no,
don't like. Oh, I
yeah,
said yes.
that's
I
fine.
don't use. I get annoyed when I speak about my previous life in this in industry, because I've always wanted to be different. I've not wanted to be like them, and
No,
I'm proud of
and
where we are.
it's so
Yeah,
clear that you're not. So,
good,
that
good.
really does come across. And I think that,
Oh,
everybody should go and find you. Emma, where can people find you?
oh gosh, every platform we're available, and it's just really the same tag, which is Cover My Bubble. So you can find us on our website. That really, we changed the website to make it really simple, streamlined it. That's easy. But also
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm trying to on as well, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So yeah, just find Emma at Cover My Bubble and ask away. Just stop being
Yeah.
scared of asking questions, because I don't charge any fees. We get paid from the insurers, so there's nothing for clients to ever pay except the monthly premium. And we
Yeah.
don't pay that until they're happy, till they're comfortable, till they know
Yeah.
what they're covered for, and they feel that security then that it's the right
Yeah.
insurances for them and their family. So yeah, ask
Amazing.
away.
Amazing. And you can find out more about Cover My Bubble in the Mad About Money app as well, because we're going to have a profile for you guys in there, and also on the Mad About Money official website. So if you guys are listening to this podcast on YouTube, then you are not in the right place. You need to be listening on the Mad About Money app. You can download it in the app stores. It's available now. Mad About Money. Yeah, just search for Mad About Money, and you will come in. You find all of my podcasts in the videos section. But make sure you're giving Emma a follow, because she's super inspiring and she has an amazing business. I'm Maddie, and this is Mad About Money, and we'll see you next time.